For the love of Lord Almighty, have teams not learned from Guild Esports? We go back to European First Strike. Yeah, late last year, it was Guild versus G2 Esports. It's been a rivalry that has continued ever since, and in this moment, it was the first big bug abuse or exploit used in a major qualifier or a major event at all. And it was, of course, Guild Esports, David Beckham's baby-backed org, which we'll probably be talking about the next couple of days. They used an exploit or a boost that people did not know about or were probably should not be abusing in the first place. Guild was given no mercy. They were slapped with an automatic forfeited loss after beating G2 for doing this.
Enemy remain.
OP, I'm talking him.
One is rotating from B instantly.
2 sides, 2 on B side, 2 on A sides.
One is boosted on B side. Wall.
And that was certainly controversial because it was swift, it was fast, and because of just that little boost, did they know they were not supposed to use it? Were they warned first? Well, they were given a forfeited loss, and that was, at least in my eyes, a pretty big series. At that time, G2 was still pretty darn dominant. It was a big win for Guild taken away, and now we have a similar offense by Vodafone Giants. We are talking about, yes, back to the VCT Open, some bug abuse in a Cypher cam that could be affecting pros out there. And according to a pro player known as Don, who is now taken to Twitter as well as to Reddit to call for the disqualification of Vodafone Giants for using this against them. What he calls, at least in 6 rounds, using this against them, a bug which they don't think should be used at all.
Ultimates Ventu que pueden sacar adelante, pero no creo que lo hagan en esta ronda, ya que imagino que tendrán que hacer una ronda económica los chavales del conjunto de Bref, porque no sé si me he fijado yo mal, pero me ha parecido que había 2 operators en este bando atacante por parte de los franceses, lo cual me sorprende y a la vez no, porque en este mapa, desde luego, tanto las Marshall como los Operator son protagonistas. Y ahí está, hemos escuchado una Sheriff, por lo tanto.
Fati que tradea y acaba con la vida del polaco. Y esto se convierte en un 3 para 2, se calma la ronda por completo. Pero tenemos a Medo, y es que esto es el duelo de masas, es el duelo de mi pueblo. Acabando con la vida de los integrantes.
And even more so, we actually have admins or TOs responding on this case, and very interestingly so, showing that they are actually investigating the bug, but also saying the usage of the cam did not change the result of the match, which is certainly debatable. Don says it was clearly a game-winning advantage, and then the admin says because of the procedure of how the bug using is handled, in the first step, a team first gets informed they are using a bug and they get warned without any impact to the result. Till now, the camera is allowed since it's not listed as a bug at all. They are investigating, and then until it's finished with Riot, it is not forbidden, to which Don obviously points out it's a newer map, so of course there's no new bugs listed yet. And here we are in a big event uncovering, or a big qualifier I should say, uncovering these new bugs. So what do? And several people twisted about this, I would say rightfully so. Now the giant question is, did the Giants know they were abusing this a little bit? Which, in my opinion, which should not matter, right? Check Twitter, check all of the players and streamers who have actually commented on this thus far. It is tough to imagine they didn't know that they were maybe bending it a little bit, maybe abusing it a little bit. I think it was actually pointed out by Don as well. There are other pro players like Team BDS members or ex-Fnatic members who knew about this and decided, because they were unsure whether they could or not, to not abuse it. Meanwhile, you got the Giants abusing it for several rounds. For me, looking at pro players, it's tough to think that a professional player would not know that this might be unknown and this might be an abusable thing, but that's just where I fall. There are certainly 2 sides to the coin. We'll see how the Giants do respond, but it's Don actually calling for the disqualification of Giants, which, you look back to what we first covered, this really does matter. The enforcement of these rules, these bugs, these exploits, they do matter. They do impact the future results of these teams, especially in some pretty important qualifiers. You got Guild, who was not shown mercy. They were slapped with a forfeited loss. Will that punishment change for the Giants? Now, obviously, they're both nuanced. They're both very complex, different situations to some extent, but they are both bugs or exploits that probably should not have been used in the first place. So will we see a similar punishment or different treatment? What do y'all think, huh? What would you guys do? I would not want to be in Riot's shoes. Till next time, you take care of yourself, all right? Do me a favor. Take a sip of water, take a sip of coffee, relax a little bit. I'll catch you back here soon. Okay, bye.